is actually the one orbiting another asteroid. And that's what allows, now I got a big picture, I'll show you, it's orbiting like this. But it's really hard if they just were to impact just any old asteroid out there, because the way you actually track orbits, you know, you might be off if you're only measuring things in a couple meters per second. It'd be really hard to see that difference if you just smacked into an asteroid. But if you have one asteroid that's orbiting another, and you know its orbital period, you say like, oh, this takes, we'll make up a number, 5 days to orbit the other asteroid. And then you ram into it, and all of a sudden it goes, oh, now it's 5 days and 2 hours. So you can tell how much energy they actually put in to that other asteroid. I just think that's like the coolest thing ever. Super proud of that. So let's see here. We do have a little update. Actually, range currently. We do have a little bit of a potential. The range is watching a cruise ship that is looking like it's flirting with our launch window here, our launch corridor. But until that actually would be a violation, that's the only update we have for now. Hopefully that's not the case. I feel like Vandenberg, you know, because there's still not a ton of launches out here on the West Coast. It seems like marine traffic, air traffic's not as used to it as they are at the Cape. The Cape's pretty well honed in. Like, it's pretty rare to have a violation for the range. But out here, it's just launches aren't quite as frequent. But you still would think, like, check those charts. Check the charts, people. Let's see here. This is awesome from Brian Myers. Let's see these Reaver engines roar. Yes, please. Oh, we are so ready. Let's see here. This is a great question from Sanchi asking, this shouldn't be a bash, and I understand why you can say it, but why are people putting payloads on rockets that have never had a successful flight? Well, that's why, you know, when it's a demonstration mission, when it's a test flight, it's basically like, hey, we'll do this for free. You know, they're obviously giving away a free ride, and that could potentially be something that could cost millions of dollars. So if you have a relatively simple, inexpensive payload, they take that risk. They say, hey, if we could potentially get this thing to space for free, like, we'll take it, you know, even if it's, you know, 50% chance of success or whatever the odds are given, you know, that's worth it. So you don't want to, that's why you also don't put anything super high priority on a brand new rocket. You know, a lot of people were asking, you know, like back in the day with, you know, SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket, why did they just put a car on it? Well, you don't want to put a fancy, expensive, you know, telescope or something that costs $1 billion on a test flight mission, because it's a test flight. You know, you have that expectation that we're going to push it and see how we do, see what works, and hopefully learn a ton. And that's exactly what they're doing here today. So you want to do payloads that are, you know, not costing hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's why they're small CubeSats, and they're taking a little bit higher risk by but they're hoping to get a free ride to orbit. So we'll see. Let's see here. Hopefully I answered this one earlier, Scotty Allen. So does the control scheme, so their particular control scheme, like I said, has opposing pairs. So one pair of engines can kind of control yaw, the other pair of engines can control pitch, and then if they move in opposite, they can all four control roll together if they want to. But each engine is actually only capable of a single axis gimbal. It's not dual axis gimbaling. So they can go just on a single axis. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of describing that. Let's see. This is a good question here. When does the launch window close? It closes at 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you'll see that's it's almost coming up on 11:30. We're coming up on, we're almost to, Pacific Daylight Time. Wait, is that what it is? DT, Daylight Savings Time. Oh, I hate that. I can't wait for that to be done. For those of you guys that don't know, we're about to get rid of Daylight Savings Time altogether, or at least the switchover. And that's going to be awesome. So yeah, we're in Pacific Daylight Time, 2 a.m. It's 7 hours behind UTC, so you can do the math there. The window, I think, ends then at 9 UTC. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Oh man, Dougal, if I were able to commentate a Saturn V launch, what would I highlight? Holy cow, how would I even know there? Honestly, everything, the size, I love things. Okay, some of the structures and the things that I love about the Saturn V, I love like the inner tanks. You can see there's these corrugated sections on the Saturn V, these kind of rigid. You'll notice most of the tankage is nice and smooth, but then every now and then you see these weird ridges. Maybe you've never noticed that, but you'll see lines. The Saturn V, that's how they made it structurally rigid between the tanks, because some of the tanks, like on the first stage, didn't have a common bulkhead. They had separate, like a fuel tank and then an oxidizer tank, and there were domes on the top and bottom of each one. So there's a little space there between those two tanks on the same stage of rocket. And so in order to make it structurally beefy, they had to use like kind of corrugate, like zigzag the metal and bend it. And you'll notice those corrugated sections in between those tanks, in between the propellant tanks on, say, the first stage. So yeah, pretty cool. So Matthew Garb wants to know, how long is the delay from real time to YouTube? Good question. With 4K, it is a little over 20 seconds. So if I were you, I would go outside at T-1 minute. That would give you ample time if you were within viewing range in the south. Where are we? Mid coast, California? I'm not sure. Central coast. There we go. Central coast, California. If you're Central Coast, yeah, you. I would say at least T-1 minute. So let's see here. Okay. This is a great question from My Left Foot. You know what? I have not done this. I don't know if this is coming in on comms tonight or not, but I better do a little confirmation check here from our team. Did I confirm the pointy end is up? You know what? I haven't yet. But this is a fantastic shot to be doing that. And I can confirm here, the pointy end is up. And let's pull up those engines. We'll be able to confirm there that the engine's pointy, flamey end is down, my friends. So this engine is in the correct orientation. And as a rocket orientation specialist, I'm not the best in the business, but at least kind of know. So maybe we'll get mission control to see if they can confirm that for us. So let's see. What page on the website? That's a good question. Let me see if I can find that here. This is on Firefly's website. You can find firefly.com. Click on launch, and here, actually, I'll just show you guys here on their website. Oh, here, let me also pull up the the question here from Ban wanting to know what page on the website. Firefly.com/alpha. You'll get all those kind of cool specs on the launch vehicle, and then yeah, that's hopefully how you can learn right there. Firefly.com/alpha, and you'll notice that's under the launch here and alpha. Now, don't forget, they're also working already on a medium lift launch vehicle. This is going to be awesome. It's going to have 7 Miranda engines. That's their next generation of engines. Firefly's working on some already really big things, and I've been really impressed with how they're, working into the industry here really, really quickly. I do need to give a shout out. Again, they don't ask me to say this. I just feel like I need to say, because I've been working with a lot of the people out here. They need help. They are hiring. So if you are someone that is, especially if you happen to be out here in California, or if you are living in Austin or near Austin, they are hiring like crazy. They need a lot more talent to help make things like this happen. You can see Mission Control there. You could help join that. But everyone I talked to is like, yeah, we're doing great. Everything's awesome, but we sure could use more help. So there you go. If you're looking for a job and you are qualified, I would definitely check out the careers page. So, let me keep going here for you guys. Let's see. An arrow point or a cube? I'm not sure what that means. Does the lunar phase... Interesting question, Bradford Ben. Does the lunar phase impact the launch weight like tides? As in, does the moon's gravity affect like the trajectory and the mass and all that stuff? Man, I doubt it, because don't forget, gravity works on the inverse square law. So if you're, say, twice as far away from a gravitational body, gravity's 4 times weaker. So the amount of gravity that we feel here on Earth from the moon is absolute minuscule compared to the gravitational pull of the moon. Now, tides, that's just crazy. It's just because of the, I think it takes a long time for tides to develop, and eventually just develop a resonance because of that small thing. It's almost like stirring, imagine stirring the oceans with a very, very, very weak spoon for a very long time. Eventually you do develop those tides, and they follow, they're because of the moon. But on Earth here, like when you're launching a rocket, the amount of gravitational pull the moon has on it as you're getting into low Earth orbit is very minuscule. I'm not sure if they even have to take it into effect because you're so far outside of the moon's gravitational influence. But I would be happy to be wrong about that. I don't know if our Discord channel has any more information on that because I might be very wrong. This is okay. So again, yeah, I did talk about this, but I love talking about this stuff from Flow. How are the engines lit? They do engine ignition with TTEB. So triethyl aluminum, triethyl boron, pyrophoric. When it comes in contact with oxygen, it will ignite. And then that's how they get stable, the combustion running, and then they start flowing more and more fuel into it, and that's how they ramp it up. Oh, interesting. Thank you. I gotta pull this up here. HL fan in our Discord says the weight change should be about 3 in a million. So yeah, it's very very minuscule compared to basically everything else. So let's see. I'll try to answer a few more questions here. Oh, this is awesome hearing from Scott Manley. Scott Manley up the coast, up near San Francisco in the Bay Area. Delta 4 was fun last Saturday. Scott was able to catch it with his own eyeballs. That looked like an awesome launch. I mean, Vandenberg is just such a cool place. It's full of such great history. And unfortunately, we can't show you beautiful views of the rolling hills and stuff here today because it is night and it's a wee bit foggy. But, you know, honestly, it's just gorgeous. And Slick 6, where the Delta 4 Heavy took off from the other day, is just such a beautiful launch pad. And, you know, we talked about it last time on stream that is where the space shuttle was potentially going to be launching from. We did find out this hangar behind me here that you see in the shot is not a space shuttle. We were told by a few people that they were going to process the space shuttle in there, but we were wondering, there wasn't enough room for the vertical stabilizer. There is actually a NASA meatball logo in between those two lights that you might barely be able to make out. But this hangar, although it's huge, is actually really, really, really big. Not big enough to fit the vertical stabilizer. So, yeah. But Slick, you know, the Vandenberg Space Force base is just incredible, and there actually is a video that they sent us that maybe we could be queuing up here in a second, and we'll tell you more about how the range operates out here because, yeah, there's some just awesome stuff that they do out here at Space Force, and the whole 45th out here has just been amazing to work with. So, yeah, but it's Slick 2 here, you know, where they're launching from today. That was previously a Delta 2 pad. So that's actually on the north side of the base. On the south side of the base, there is Slick 3, which is where Atlas is going to have one more launch from here. Then it'll turn over to a Vulcan pad. Then there's Slick 4, which is where SpaceX launches Falcon 9 from. And then Slick 6 is also down here. I'm sure there's a 5 there somewhere. But Slick 6 is where the Delta 4 Heavy launched from. And Delta 4 Heavy, again, or Slick 6 should have had a space shuttle with, you know, they actually mocked it up with Enterprise out there. But yeah, Delta 30 out here. Space launch Delta 30. So, yeah. Sorry, what was that? We do have the video? Or okay, cool. Yeah, let's show that video from the 30th.
Vandenberg Space Force Base's top priority is to assure access to space and safety for all of our launch partners, including Firefly.
The mission of Firefly is to make space for everybody. And what that means is to allow access to space for even the smaller payloads. We're here at Slick 2 getting ready for our second flight of the Alpha vehicle. We're very excited about it. It's really been great working with the range and the base on safety, flight safety, public safety, pretty much all aspects. Getting ready for a mission.
And yeah, what's really cool here with the 30th is, you know, they're the ones providing the tracking assets too. So our cameras can't see in infrared. Our cameras are visible light cameras, as most cameras are. But the cameras they have out here, even though there is, like I said, there's a decent little marine layer, a little bit of fog, those cameras will be able to cut right through it. And that's super cool. That provides a really, really good. I know it doesn't look like much, but when that lights up, you know, it's able to cut right through clouds. And so that will still be able to tell the teams an awful lot there. So those are the infrared cameras, and those will be awesome. This is from Milan wanting to know what's the vapor coming off the rocket during prop fill. So yeah, we've talked about this a handful of times, but it's always something that's important to note, that's literally just, so inside the rocket there's liquid oxygen. So that's that is oxygen that's chilled down until it reaches liquid point, and that's really, really cold. If I always think I should remind myself at the beginning of the webcast what it is. I believe it's a minus 183 degrees Celsius. I think is the boiling point of oxygen, and then since it's so stinking cold, it will warm up due to the ambient temperature difference out here, just living on Earth. So when it warms up, it turns into a gas. So it turns into gaseous oxygen. It expands almost 1,000 times, and so when you do that, you have to vent it out. Now you'll notice right there, perfect example. They're venting out all of the gaseous oxygen so that it doesn't rupture the tanks, which is obviously vital. So, and you also notice too, just in general, because the rocket's so cold, some of the vapors are just coming off the rocket. And just like when you open like your freezer, sometimes you'll see the condensation coming out of the freezer too. That same type of thing. Or if you've ever played with dry ice or something like that, you'll see that same thing. That's just literally really cold air coming in contact with the water vapor in the atmosphere, the humidity in the atmosphere, and it just makes these little condensation clouds. And that's just what it is. Let's see here. This is from Space Pony. Thank you so much for your tip. I gotta see. Yeah, will Firefly ever provide a co-host for added info? I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And we're in loops with their comms team, and we're actually coming up here we're about 6 minutes away from hopefully hearing the go no go poll from them, and we'll be able to pull that up, and hopefully when we have that up, we can put it in a box so we can see the teams doing it. But I would like to always keep the rocket on camera at all times, because that's the star of the show today is the rocket. But also the teams are the teams are kind of really the star of the show. Without them, there wouldn't be a rocket. But the rocket's also a co-star. But as far as having a co-host, I would love that. I would love to help get them just have their own live stream set up here and embedded into their launch pad and stuff like that, and help them figure out their whole system here. We've learned a lot of lessons. I've learned a lot just setting up a live stream like this with a launch provider. It's just been incredible. So there you can see mission control. Pretty awesome. The cool the things that I've learned, like we have our stuff tied into fiber optic lines and all this stuff, and we've learned an awful lot about how to get feeds back and forth across the whole Vandenberg Space Force base. And this is cool. This is awesome from Cody. Maybe Cody's dad is in this shot. Shout out to my dad Nathan for working on this. Can you imagine that? I mean, that's awesome. Out there, Nathan is building rockets, and Cody's watching his dad get ready to put a rocket into space. That's awesome. That's what this is all about. And of course, my job as a complete armchair, like the ultimate armchair, I am just a guy that loves spaceflight. Friendly reminder, I am not an engineer. I don't have a degree in any of this stuff. I just love this stuff. So take what I say with a grain of, I'll say a grain of sand, because a grain of salt would probably be the right way to say it. But this way you reiterates that I am just an enthusiast, and my job is to help you guys get excited about this stuff, and also to help remind you that there are people out there that work on this stuff tirelessly, that work on it day and night, think about every little component of this rocket, that know more about the inner workings of this rocket than I could ever know. There's people out there that are know everything about a certain valve, that are like valve experts. There's people that are avionics experts. There's people that are programming the code to do all of the things that I just can't even wrap my head around. So, my job is to help make rocket science fun to the best of my ability. And I'm always learning, and I hope you guys are always learning too, because that's what this is all about. So it's just quite an honor. I mean, this is like the ultimate dream for me, is to be able to be streaming a rocket launch that's about to go to space. I mean, come on. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous, and it's such an honor. And I'm again so thankful to the teams at Firefly for trusting me with this. I mean, trusting us to be out here and to let us set up 4K cameras on the launch pad. I mean, that's just absolutely so. And I got another reminder where we got the go no go poll coming up here in about 3 minutes or so, and we'll be able to bring you guys that audio as well when they do that. So that'll be awesome. Let's see here. So the prop load on this rocket, Chris, hey, awesome. I didn't even realize who said it. Chris Ambrosky who has ridden on a Falcon 9. We have an astronaut asking, maybe I'm spoiled with a 35-minute prop load time for the Falcon 9, but how long before T0 does this rocket get fueled? Very good question. If I remember it, they actually begin prop load, is it T-minus 4 hours, Ryan? Do you remember? Is that? I'll pull it up here on our website. If I recall, and maybe we can get a reminder. I believe, let's see. LOX load began at T-minus 3 hours and 40 minutes. So that's when they began LOX load, and I don't remember, fuel load might be like T-minus 2 hours. But so basically prop load begins just under 4 hours, T-minus 3 hours and 40 minutes. So awesome. Everyone say hi to Chris Sembrowski. So cool having him in chat here and asking questions. Really, really appreciate the shout out there. Let's see here. Again, another reminder for Edgar. Will the rocket go south or straight west? It's kind of southwest. It's 37 or 27 degree inclination. So it is 137 degree inclination. So 180 degrees would be more or less due west. But of course, when you factor in the rotation of the Earth, when you're flying a little bit of they're flying a little bit southwest, it'll turn, the rotation of the Earth ends up kind of moving the trajectory a little bit even more east. But it's flying pretty darn southwest. So it's retrograde. It's actually going against the rotation of the Earth, which is a little bit harder to do. So let's see here. Got to say thank you to Bob Brink for becoming a member. That helps us continue to do what we do here. Really appreciate that. It means a lot. Let's see. Okay, we're actually coming up here. In 1 minute here, I think we're going to hear the go, no-go poll from the team at Mission Control, and that's going to be awesome. So hopefully that is exactly the case. Let's see here. Oh, this is awesome. From Republic Capital, proud investors of Firefly. I thank you for saying I'm doing an amazing job. 2 a.m. Out here in New York City. Oh man, it's going to be 3 a.m. by the time this thing launches. So thank you for staying up with us from Republic Capital, and thanks for investing in New Space and a company that's going big for their first. This is, again, I don't think people understand how big this is compared to most small launch vehicles. This is a really big and ambitious small launch vehicle. I mean, being able to lift over 1,000 kilograms for a small lift launcher is a lot. So yeah, I think we're coming up here. Hopefully the teams are getting ready to do the go no go poll, and we'll be able to bring that on air and show you guys Mission Control as they go through that. And that's going to be, I can't wait. The go no go poll always makes me just get a little bit. It's just such a hype building experience. Just yeah, super excited. So all right, we're waiting on them to start with that, and as soon as we get that, we'll let you know. Here, I'll answer one more question here from Spencer. Will this launch be visible from LA? It might be. It will be, depending on weather for you, if it's clear skies or not, you might be able to catch it a little bit, but it is flying a little bit more west. So, all right, here we go. Stand by for the go no go poll from Mission Control.
Go.
GSW.
Go.
GNC.
Go.
Prop 1.
Go.
Fluids 1.
Go.
Structures.
Go.
ABI.
Go.
FTS.
Go.
GC.
Go.
VC.
Go.
PMM.
Go.
OSM.
Go.
LWO. Launch Weather Officer. We'll come back. CE.
Go.
LD.
Go.
LWO. I'm aware. VC, please put the vehicle state machine into flight mode.
Copy that. Vehicles transition to flight mode. Transition vehicle to flight mode.
Thank you. Prepare hydraulics for terminal count.
Copy.
Verify set the operation selector to launch.
Copy, can confirm vehicle status vehicle launch. Op select.
Please run hydraulic strong back auto pinner engage auto sequence.
Copy, running. Hide SB auto pinner engage.
Please announce when we get positive pressure.
Well, I think we're still waiting to hear for a final go from mission director, from launch director Megan Roth. Did I miss it? Or were they still waiting on one more?
Copy that.
Hello.
They did put the rocket into.
Welcome to all the live stream.
Okay, I think we're just waiting on
Did the
one more
SD
go.
Okay.
engage auto
आप सभी का स्वागत है एक और लाइव स्ट्रीम में जहां हम देखेंगे फायरफ्लाई एक
Hopefully
प्राइवेट
we'll
स्पेस
hear back
कंपनी का
soon
लॉन्च
on whether or not we do have go across the board.
ओके लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द लॉन्च टुडे। तो आप सभी का स्वागत है एक और लाइव स्ट्रीम में जहां पे हम देखेंगे फायरफ्लाई एक प्राइवेट स्पेस कंपनी जिसका एम है रॉकेट लॉन्च करना। स्मॉल सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल टाइप है जिसका रॉकेट का नाम जो आपके सामने स्क्रीन पे है उसका रॉकेट का नाम है अल्फ़ा रॉकेट। अल्फ़ा रॉकेट लॉन्च किया जा रहा है यहाँ पे दूसरी बार। इस कंपनी का ये दूसरा लॉन्च है पर 2022 में ये पहला लॉन्च है इस कंपनी का। तो देखते हैं सक्सेसफुल होता है या फिर क्यों नहीं, क्योंकि इसके पहले जो लॉन्च किया था पहला ट्रायल अल्फ़ा रॉकेट 2021 में वो फेल्ड हो गया था। उसके कुछ कारण थे, इंजन नंबर 2 में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ गई थी, वो आगे हम डिस्कस करेंगे क्या बात है। पहले हम ओवरव्यू समझ लेते हैं इस कंपनी का और आज के लॉन्च के बारे में। तो इस मिशन का नाम रखा गया है फ्लैट 002 टू द बैक। दिस इज़ द मिशन नेम एंड द रॉकेट नेम इज़ अल्फ़ा। द कंपनी नेम इज़ Firefly Aerospace. This is the complete name. And launch location is Vandenberg Space Force Base जो यूएसए में है, वहाँ से लॉन्च किया जा रहा है। और अगर पेलोड की बात करें तो इसमें 2 क्यूब सैटेलाइट है और 5 पीको सैटेलाइट है जो और भी छोटे होते हैं। इसमें कुछ अदर गवर्नमेंट कंपनीज़ के भी सैटेलाइट हैं छोटे बड़े और नासा के भी है सैटेलाइट क्यूब सैटेलाइट। और टोटल मास की बात करें तो 35 किलोग्राम का ये भेजा जा रहा है इस बार वाले में मिशन में, क्योंकि मून अभी गोल नहीं है सैटेलाइट को ऑर्बिट पे भेजना। मोर गोल है कि सॉरी मोर नहीं, मेन गोल है कि रॉकेट को टेस्टिंग करना कि ये ऑर्बिट पहुंच पाएगा कि नहीं, क्योंकि इस कंपनी ने 2 बार रॉकेट लॉन्च किया है, सॉरी 1 बार रॉकेट लॉन्च किया है जो फेल्ड हो गया था। तो ये सेकंड ट्रायल है और फर्स्ट ट्रायल इन 2022 अल्फ़ा रॉकेट का। और डिस्कस करते हैं, अब जान लेते हैं कि अल्फ़ा रॉकेट के बारे में जो आपके सामने खड़ा है इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा ब्रीफ डिस्कशन कर लेते हैं। ये 29.48 मीटर लॉन्ग है जो पूरे वर्ल्ड में स्मॉल सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल जैसे इलेक्ट्रॉन रॉकेट का है, अल्फ़ा रॉकेट का है, अपने इंडियन स्टार्टअप जैसे स्काई रूट है और अग्निकुल है, इन सब के मायने में अगर देखा जाए कंपैरिजन किया जाए तो ये स्मॉल सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल में सबसे बड़ा है क्योंकि ये 29.48 मीटर का है। और वहीं अगर डिस्कस करें कि दूसरे कितने बड़े बड़े हैं तो लगभग सबके पास 24 मीटर तक ख़त्म हो जाता है। जैसे इलेक्ट्रॉन रॉकेट है रॉकेट लैब का कंपनी, वो 24 मीटर का है, तो इससे उनसे थोड़ा सा ये बड़ा है। और डाया है 1.8 मीटर का डाया है। और अगर इस मटेरियल की बात करें किस मटेरियल से बना है तो कार्बन फाइबर मटेरियल से बना है, जो सेम मटेरियल यूज़ करता है रॉकेट लैब इलेक्ट्रॉन रॉकेट में। और जो अपकमिंग रॉकेट है उनका न्यूट्रॉन रॉकेट, उसमें भी सेम मटेरियल यूज़ किया जाएगा। और अब बात कर लेते हैं इंजन, कौन सा इंजन यूज़ करते हैं और फ्यूल के बारे में डिस्कस कर लेते हैं। तो इसमें इंजन यूज़ किया जा रहा है नीचे फर्स्ट स्टेज और सेकंड स्टेज, ये 2 स्टेज रॉकेट है। जो फर्स्ट स्टेज में 4 रॉकेट इंजन लगे हुए हैं जिसका नाम है रवीर 1 इंजन, जो 184 किलो न्यूटन का थ्रस्ट प्रोड्यूस करता है, एक सिंगल इंजन जिसमें 4 इंजन लगे हुए हैं। और सेकंड स्टेज में लगा हुआ लाइटनिंग 1 इंजन जो 70 किलो न्यूटन का थ्रस्ट प्रोड्यूस करता है। और अगर फ्यूल की बात करें तो इसमें फ्यूल यूज़ किया जाता है RP1 विच इज़ a more refined version of kerosene, RP1 and liquid oxygen. सेम फ्यूल यूज़ किया जाता है स्पेस एक्स के मर्लिन इंजन में जो फैल्कन 9 रॉकेट यूज़ करता है। तो ये बात हो गई इंजन की, रॉकेट लैब इंजन की बात हो गई, रॉकेट के बारे में बात हो गई, फ्यूल के बारे में बात हो गई, इस कंपनी के बारे में थोड़ा सा ओवरव्यू ले लिया, मिशन के बारे में बात हो गई, और इसमें क्या लॉन्च किया जा रहा है इसके बारे में बात हो गई। अब डिस्कस कर लेते हैं कि एवरीडे एस्ट्रोनॉट जो एक यूट्यूब चैनल है इनका, तो उन्होंने ये ऑफिशियल रखा गया, मतलब जो रॉकेट जो कंपनी है नेम्ड इसका फायरफ्लाई जो कंपनी है उसका मेन चैनल है, लेकिन वो स्ट्रीम करवा रहे हैं रॉकेट एवरीडे एस्ट्रोनॉट से। तो इसलिए ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट, ऑफिशियल जितने भी लाइव चल रहे हैं वो एवरीडे एस्ट्रोनॉट के चैनल पे चल रहे हैं, तो वहाँ से ये लाइव पॉडकास्ट हम लोग कर रहे हैं। तो दिस इज़ द होल ओवरव्यू ऑफ दिस रॉकेट लॉन्च, दिस मिशन। सो लेट्स एंजॉय द रॉकेट लॉन्च एंड देखते हैं अगले कुछ मिनट में लॉन्च किया जाएगा। तो अब देख लेते हैं लाइव स्ट्रीम में क्या चल रहा है। लेट्स स्टार्ट।
Got everything going here. This is looking good. Oh man, this is a fun reminder from Gary saying there seems to be a rocket launch about every day now. What a glorious time we live in. This is so true. Honestly, it's just absolutely incredible to me that that we're living in a time where I can't even keep up with the rockets launching these days. I think when I first started streaming stuff, I don't think the U.S. had much more than like 12 launches in the entire year. Now we're seeing like some months have, you know, we've probably seen 12 launches in a month these days out here in the U.S. It's just, it's so hard to keep up. So
Yes,
let's see here.
lots of rocket
Nando,
launcher
does
these
launching
days.
at night cause significant changes to launch protocols? Now that I'm not actually sure. I would love to have a specific answer.
10
I don't
मिनट
think it
में
really
launch.
changes too much
Okay.
about anything with the rocket and the trajectory. The main thing is, you know, the range is generally a lot more clear at night. We don't have to worry about contending with as many, you know, other vehicles in the air, like airplanes and airliners. Marine traffic can be a lot lower too. So yeah, it's in general, I don't think there's too much different other than the fact that it's at night. You know, yeah. Oh, this is cool from the launch pad. How you doing, guys? Hey Tim, going to be a great night. What's it like being there on site? The sounds, the smells, the atmosphere. First off, it's chilly. I am chilly. It is cold here tonight. It is. Let's see. What's the actual temperature? It's 58 degrees Fahrenheit. So what is that, like 20-ish centigrade? It is relatively chilly. So yeah, I would say it's chilly. But out of the launch pad, the sounds, you hear a lot of compressing whirs and air recirculators. They have a big nitrogen compressor out there. You hear just different things, kind of like there's just a lot of buzzing and whir. Actually, if you listen to the interview that I did with some of the team members when I was out here last time, you will notice when we're sitting. I was sitting with Megan Roth, launch director. I was sitting with her at the engine section of the rocket. You'll notice that the sound sounds a little off because we had to swoop out a ton of noise because there's all these compressors whirring and all these kind of buzzes going, and just literally like it's almost like it's a living, breathing machine, and it takes you know, a whole set of machinery out there to make this thing operate. So yeah, it's super cool. So yeah, so this is from High Desert Garden. Is this Firefly's first attempt? If not, how many? This is their second orbital launch attempt. They launched last September, and or was it August? I think it was September, last September. And this is their second launch attempt. Everything's looking really good, though. We're T-minus 8 minutes. All cameras rolling and ready to go. Did we happen to put a memory card into that one out there? Yeah, thank you. Pad cameras are rolling, all of them. It's getting exciting. We're T-minus 8 minutes and 20 seconds. We can pull up comms audio, by the way, again. We're within T-minus 10 minutes. All right, Starhawk became a member. Thank you so much. This is a good question from maybe Georgie. Why do they let you set up cameras this close? What was the conversation like? Well, don't forget the reason that we have cameras this close. We actually let's see. Why did we let the camera set up? Oh, yeah, what was the conversation? We are the live stream provider here. We are the actual live stream provider. So, without our cameras, Colin, you're still on my comms, by the way. Sorry. So yeah, we are the only live stream that you guys have, and Firefly hired us to be the live stream provider. So, let's see here. Let's see. What is the total volume of fuel that Alpha needs for flight? And is it the same or similar mix as other rockets we've seen before? So what is the total volume of fuel that Alpha needs for flight? So you can just look at the volume of the vehicle. I don't know if we can pull up the overlay on the size of the rocket, but it's 98 meters tall, I believe 2 meters wide or 1.8 meters wide, 6 feet wide.
T-minus 7 minutes. Has 2 TVC wheels.
There we go. We do have comms there. So
Okay,
that's awesome.
within a 7 minutes
So
they
I
are
don't know
launching the
offhand
rocket.
the exact volume, but you can see there the division between the liquid oxygen tanks and the RP1 tank on that first stage.
Wiggles complete, no warnings.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. No warnings. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, if you are someone that enjoys doing math, you could figure out the exact volume. Maybe we actually have that here on the. Maybe it shows.
T-minus 6:30.
T-minus 6:30. We're getting close.
FSW, please start a Wireshark capture on the umbilical port PCAP server.
Good work.
Thank you.
This is from Scott Manley, reminding us that there's actually still hundreds
internal power
of images.
Okay,
from Lucy
ready for the launch.
The mission that we're talking about earlier from the DART double asteroid redirect mission. Friendly reminder here: if you haven't kicked your YouTube up into 4K, it's worth it.
T-minus 6 minutes.
Within a 6 minute they are launching the Alpha rocket.
6 minutes. How you feeling, Ryan? Awesome. Oh man, this is huge from Vegas Brent. Thank you so much, Vegas Brent.
All arms are open.
Sincerely appreciate everything you're doing to continue to promoting space exploration. That is huge. Thank you so much. That makes, that helps make all this so worth it. And everyone in chat, please say thank you.
30 seconds. Strong back retract is beginning.
To Vegas Brent, we are seeing the strong back retract beginning. It's hard to notice now with the venting there, but if we go to maybe that other angle that's a little wider, yep, you'll see the thing that was holding the rocket up is now retracting. The claw has let go, and we're seeing some slack there in the umbilicals. As this thing gets ready to launch, that's a great sign that we are go for launch. They're getting further and further into the sequence. Oh, that's so exciting. But again, I gotta say...
Okay. It's very exciting to see that.
Instructions earlier, since we are not waiting, we will just run A2 SVHR cycle check.
Copy. Running. A2 SVHR.
Oh god.
Running.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Within a 4 minute they are launching the rocket.
So again,
okay.
Desert Garden. Really appreciate that.
Go.
That was completing time. GSE fluid go on.
We aborted.
Huh?
Lost GC GC SDA lost count.
Copy that. Stepping into abort actions at this time. We lost counts on the GSE SDA.
Confirmed. It looks like it popped back after 2 seconds.
Copy. Confirm there are no fires on video. No fires. GC, please close NV 598, 599 Alpha Bravo.
Closed.
GC, confirm the following pre-valves are closed.
Confirmed.
Helium bubbles active.
Confirmed.
S1 fuel tank is maintained between 30 and 36.
Confirmed.
All other tanks are vented.
Confirmed.
GC, please confirm the following. TTAT tank is vented.
Vented.
TVC is vented.
Venting.
Spin system is vented.
All right, well, as you heard, the teams, they have aborted for now. Looks like they may have had some little... We'll wait to hear exactly what that was, but it's no big deal. They do have almost a 2-hour launch window. So, yeah, they
Okay. They postponed their
launch. You
launch.
can see the strong back retracting here, and they're going to hold on to the rocket until they're able to reset. I think when I talked to engineers last time, they said it takes about, depending on the situation, it can be 45 minutes or so. So we'll wait to hear from the teams on what the cause of if there was a cause that is anything that really matters, but realistically, hopefully they'll just give us a new T0 time. So we will stop that clock or put it in hold here as soon as we can, and then
ओके, अभी की अपडेट ये है कि इन्होंने भी होल्ड कर दिया है। 2 आवर्स का विंडो है, लॉन्च विंडो, उसके बीच में लॉन्च किया जाएगा अगर ये प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व हो जाती है। लेकिन क्या प्रॉब्लम है अभी पता नहीं है, लेकिन विद इन 2 आवर अगर ये लॉन्च करते हैं तभी लॉन्च कर पाएंगे। उसके बाद लॉन्च विंडो ख़त्म हो जाएगा तो इन्हें स्क्रब करना पड़ेगा आज का लॉन्च। तो देखते हैं फाइनल अपडेट क्या है।
just after midnight now, but we are in a hold, so we're waiting to hear what the latest is. I do need to say, at this point, yeah, thank you for all of you that have become members, such as James McGowan and Zach Kingston. Really appreciate it. And we do have Europe starting to check in here. Kieran 750 in Scotland, so that was a little bit ago. Saying send it. Hopefully we do. Again, we have
Okay, have
an
a water.
hour and 55 minutes left in this launch window, so the teams will have a decent amount of time here to reset what needs to be reset, and hopefully reset the mission here. So and get ready for another attempt today.
ओके,
So,
देखते हैं अगला
good
लॉन्च
question here
अटेम्प्ट
from
होता है या फिर
R3
नहीं।
Poman XL. Have I been able to visit the Space and Heritage Center here on base? I have not. I have not. I have seen that there is a museum here. I don't really know where it is, and I have not been there. I would like to do that. If there's an opportunity to do that, that would be awesome. I'm sure there's a lot of, like I said, Vandenberg's full of just amazing history. So,
लेट्स सी।
all right, here, let's keep going. Hey, Tim, I'm watching from Vandenberg Space Flight Base flight line using a Starlink terminal. Wow. You should come out here next time. I'm not sure where the flight line is. That's awesome. Well, thank you for watching here. That's really cool. And again, thank you to from Fad. Sorry if I totally mispronounced that, for becoming a member. Let's see. Oh, this is cool. From Dylan G Tech. Demo 2 was the first launch you'd ever watch live, so began my career focus as a software engineer. I hope Firefly and many more can wow us. What a time indeed. That's awesome. Demo 2 was a big mission. That was, of course, the first time that NASA started hiring commercial partners to launch astronauts. So that's obviously a big deal. You know, NASA's starting to bring in more and more commercial companies. You know, Firefly is going to be flying a lunar lander for NASA. That's like, NASA is just, it's so cool how they're starting to realize, you know, hey, we don't need to be the owners and operators of vehicles anymore. We can just say, hey, here's what we want to do. We want to fly people. We want to land on the moon. We want to do X, Y, and Z. And then they just see what partners come up with proposals and award contracts to those with awesome proposals. So it is a really exciting time just because it feels like there's a lot. And they kept saying, you know, NASA really kept reiterating how badly they want to, you know, open up space to be a new industry. And that's absolutely not, they're not wrong there. I mean, I feel like it's so hard to keep up with all the activity going on. This is the new frontier. Spaceflight is just like taking off right now, you know, and you just have so much exciting activity to try to keep track of. So it's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of stuff, and I really got to give a shout out to all those that really cover this stuff more on the news side of things. I mean, there's, you know, just so many talented reporters out there and channels that cover this stuff purely on the news side. It's exhausting. It's hard to keep up with it all these days. I mean, again, 7 years ago or 8 years ago when I started first paying attention, it was a lot easier. Nowadays, it takes teams to do that. So thank you again to Brett C. for becoming a member, and to Josh Mumpower for becoming a member. And thank you very much from Donald. I appreciate you saying I'm doing a good job trying to just not be too cold and keep the excitement going, because, you know, hopefully we like I said, we still have an hour and 52 minutes left in this launch window. And if this thing gets back down to that T-minus 1 minute, it's gonna be go time. So I gotta be ready. I gotta be ready and prepared mentally to hopefully watch a orbital rocket launch tonight. You know, that's one of those things. It's yeah. Let's see here. So oh, this is cool. Hello from the Angry Astronaut team. Glad to see new space embracing us space nuts. It's so true. Again, Firefly doesn't have to give us this kind of access. I mean, imagine I can't imagine, you know, what it takes, what kind of guts it takes, and honesty and openness to share feeds like this with us. We're just so thankful. Again, this is just unprecedented to have access to a test flight like this. This is still a demonstration mission for this company, and you know they're just being so open and honest about it, and it's just been amazing. So everyone, if you're in chat right now, just say thank you, Firefly, because they didn't have to do this. They don't
Yes.
have to be doing this at all. They could just be doing this in the secrecy with barely even a peep and hardly anybody knowing about it, and here they are letting us broadcast it in 4K. I just think that's the coolest thing ever. Let's see here. Let's see if I can answer a few more of your questions. Yes, so Jose Nunez wants to know, is it a dummy payload? No, they actually have some real payload on here. I can go through those here on anytime you guys have questions about upcoming rocket launches. You can go to our pre-launch previews at everydayastronaut.com, and we will hopefully answer a lot of the questions you guys have. If you go to everydayastronaut.com, click on upcoming launches, you will see pre-launch previews, and you'll see the one for this mission. And you'll learn that there's a handful of payloads on this. There's the Teachers in Space Serenity payload. There's the NASA TechEd Sat 15 or Test 15. There's the Libre Space Foundation PicoBus. Quick Pick 1
ये सब
and
पेलोड हैं
2.
जो इस पर भेजे
There's
जा रहे
the
हैं। पेलोड का
AMSAT
मास है
48
35
Genesis
kg टोटल।
G/J. Those are little tiny guys there. I love them. There's FOSA
PicoSat
Systems
Black.
FOSASat 1B. So, yeah, there's it is pretty exciting. You know, they are able to basically give away some rides when it's a demonstration mission like this, because total win, like if those things get into space for free, that's a huge value to these payloads, you know. And so yeah, they're not just flying a hunk of concrete, but they're actually trying to get some meaningful payloads into space. So yeah, pretty awesome. So let's see. I'm trying to keep up here with you guys. Okay, this is a good question from Colin Gibbons. Speaking of Demo 2, why do different flight profiles have such different rumble patterns for the same rocket? We live in Florida and try to watch every launch we can, and ISS missions are often louder. So that's a great question. That deals with a lot of other variables, but the big one, if I'm assuming, Colin, you must be north of Kennedy Space Center, because ISS missions will always fly to that 51.6 degree inclination. So that's going pretty much northeast. It's going to go more or less almost following the coast of Florida, and then the whole east coast of the United States, it flies just kind of off the coast. So if you're north, it's going to be flying a lot more towards you, a lot more overhead, as opposed to, yes, and sorry, we're getting a little bit ahead on the chat here. I don't know why it's going green. I would like to answer that question here, but sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself there. But yeah, missions that normally fly straight east, you just won't hear it as much because it's moving away from you pretty quickly. But the other big factor, a huge factor, is actually weather. So differences in humidity, temperature, cloud layer. If you're in between, if there's a layer of clouds, it is unbelievable how much that makes a difference, because the sound waves will actually end up like bouncing off the clouds, and that'll be the loudest rockets you ever hear. Is like when there's a cloud layer between you and the rocket. You know, let's say they're just 3,000 feet or something up in the air, like 1,000 meters. You know, and that's where the cloud layer is, and the rocket launches for those first couple seconds, you know, 10, 20, 30 seconds or whatever, it'll be really loud because the sound waves will be bouncing off the clouds. So there's a lot of variables that determine whether or not a rocket's loud. So let's see. Let's answer that question here from over her top, or however you say this. Why does it take so long to resume a countdown after an abort? Well, the teams have to reset. There's the terminal clock in a rocket normally has a whole progress of things that need to happen. It needs to, you know, open valves and maintain pressures and flow fuels through the engines and do all of these things, priming the rocket to get ready to lift off. Even, you know, getting the vehicle up to flight pressures, all of the different things, and you basically want to kind of talk the rocket back down out of that state and then reset and get back to
ओके, अभी होल्ड पे है। आगे जब भी जो भी अपडेट आएगा वो हम डिस्कस करते रहेंगे। तो whenever the time start, I will be here to live host that rocket launch, and till then keep watching, and I'm here. But when the timer start, जब भी ये टाइम स्टार्ट करेंगे, I'm again in front of you to host live. Enjoy the live, enjoy the rocket launch. I will be back whenever the time starts for the rocket launch.
Set to XYZ. I have no idea. I've never been on mission control at all. But you know, that's what these engineers and scientists and the people here at Firefly get to go through that and basically go, well, here's what I think happened, and here's what I think is the problem, and here's the solution for it. So, yeah, that's kind of why it takes a little bit of time, because you just want to make sure you have a good handle of the situation. You put the vehicle back into a safe state, and then you basically reboot it. You know, same reason why do you know, even like a computer, say you turn off a computer and you turn it back on, it has to go through a whole startup sequence. It's the same thing here, only a lot more involved. So let's see here. Vegas Brent, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. I'll answer this question because why not? From the law. Tim, what's my favorite type of pizza? When you're on site watching launches and waiting hours and hours and hours. I'm going to get probably some flack for this one, but I got to say there's nothing better than a good old cheese pizza. Yes, I might be 13 years old, but I like it simple. Just give me some cheese and some pizza, and I'm a happy, happy man. I mean, other than that, like, you know, margarita pizza, which is basically the same thing, just slightly different ratios of things, and some basil. Yeah, I don't know. Not a huge... I like to keep it simple, you know? Let's see. Thank you. For those of you that are, again, remember, if you guys ask good questions, we'll try to throw it up into chat. You don't have to be doing any super chats or anything like that, but just hopefully ask a good question. And hopefully, yeah. Let's see. Is the... yep, this is from Launch Recap. Is the Alpha rocket running on RP1? And is there a backup window? Yes. So the Alpha rocket runs on RP1 and liquid oxygen. So Kerolox, as you might call it. You might hear it be called that, which is basically liquid oxygen and kerosene. So yeah, it runs on Kerolox. And the backup window is tomorrow. Same time, same place, 12:01 to 2 a.m. tomorrow. So 24-hour reset. If this is not going tonight, we will find out, though. Again, we're awaiting more information from the teams to learn if there's a new T0, and assuming there's hopefully a launch tonight. So let me keep going here for you guys. New membership from Kenny the Clone. Really appreciate it. This is a really good question here. This is a fun one from Game Terminator 82. Is there a difference in speed you need to be going if you're going against Earth rotation or with Earth's rotation to get into orbit? Really good question. So the difference is the actual end velocity, the relative velocity that the spacecraft is traveling in relation to just the Earth will be the same. The actual orbital velocity is the same. But you don't get to take into effect the fact that the Earth is moving at almost 1,000 miles an hour, 1,600 kilometers an hour ish. That's a real rough guess. The Earth is rotating, so that inertia is actually, when you're launching up, it's slinging it a little bit, right? Actually a decent amount. It's slinging it a real decent amount. So if you're flying east along with the rotation of the Earth, the closer you are to the equator, the more that inertia you're getting. So if you're flying east, you get that sling. If you're flying west, you have to fight that sling. So you actually have to add a decent amount of delta V to counteract the rotation of the Earth. So again, it is actually technically harder, and you reduce your payload capacity of a rocket if you are flying west or flying retrograde compared to flying east. And actually, rough back of the napkin math, it can almost reduce the payload capacity by about half. So say this rocket can normally launch over a metric ton. You might expect, if you're flying straight retrograde, you might expect to only get about 500 kilograms into orbit. But again, with today's payload being only about 35 kilograms, they're well within an expected, they're just trying to demonstrate all of the phases of this rocket and demonstrate this rocket's capability. So they're not necessarily worried about actually getting into orbit. That's just kind of a bonus, and it doesn't need to be any kind of meaningful orbit per se. They're just trying to get some stuff up into space and see how it goes, right? That's what a test flight is for. That's what a demonstration mission is for. So this is from Chris. Are there any onboard cameras, or will it be an animation? Yes, we actually do have. Hopefully, we have onboard cameras. I don't know how much downlink will be afforded to be able to provide decent feeds from the rocket, but we have the range asset cameras, and we also hopefully do have a downlink camera from the rocket itself, which is really cool. It might not be a great feed again because it's limited bandwidth, but we will see. I love reading these emotes out loud. Fan character laughing out loud with tears in their eyes. Thank you very much from Buta Piatu. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's see here. This is from Kerbal Engineering System. Does Alpha have a lifespan on how long it can sit out on the pad? It's been out there for almost a month now. How many more times can they scrub before having to roll back? Well, this is not like the Artemis rocket. This is not like SLS. There is no giant vehicle assembly building out here. That's like two, and as you'll notice here in these shots, there's really there's almost nothing out there. That's how clean and simple all of this is. You know, the rocket can, I don't know if there's a lifespan, but they did say that the first time they were trying to light the engines on their first launch vehicle, they filled it and drained 18 times before they were able to actually light the engines. And with this particular vehicle, they were able to do it on the first time. So as far as like being a fresh system, it's a lot more ready to go. And these vehicles obviously are able to handle the weather. I don't know if there's like a lifespan. I don't have any numbers on me about, you know, how many times can they do it before it's an issue. It's not like it's not like SLS, and it doesn't have a big scary procedure to get back. You know, they can take this thing. The cool thing is that so many times they work on the rocket literally just like within minutes. They can lay it down horizontally. I've been out there on the pad when they're taking it from vertical to horizontal, and just so cool seeing a team just be able to work on something so routinely, you know, just so simply and easily, and they just go, oh, okay, we're just, you know, open up this cover and you'll just see them working on stuff like it's nothing. That is kind of the difference between some of the new space mentalities versus some of the more traditional aerospace mentalities. Is just and the size. You know, this is a lot smaller than something like SLS, so it's a lot easier to be able to work on something like this. And we're seeing some more venting, but I have not heard any word yet on. I actually just did get an update that we're expecting a new T0 time coming shortly. So the other thing that you need to keep in mind when you're flying a rocket, some of the things that matter for T0 is actually range considerations, like where the rocket's going to go, where the payload's going to go, making sure you're not interfering with existing satellites. So they need to make sure they're clear to go there. Yeah, and standby, I might have a little update. Okay. Okay, I think I don't think that's go no go. We can air. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, it sounds like the teams are reevaluating at the moment, actually, their next and current opportunities. So that's awesome. So stand by, guys. We'll hopefully have something for you guys here. Awesome. So sounds like we're awaiting a new T0 time. We'll wait for that new T0 time, and that'll be great. Ooh, very good question. Moonman, how different would venting look on Mars? I don't even know if I know how to answer that. The number one thing is with only 1% atmosphere, what would that actually do? It almost, you know, it'd be like the equivalent of venting into a vacuum almost. You know, it'd be such a thin atmosphere. Lower gravity, much colder. Man, I honestly have almost no idea. Okay, so we do have an update that officially recycle operations are a go. So they are going for recycling. So we'll await still a new T0 time, but the teams are going to recycle and refuel. So hopefully within like the next hour, we should see another launch attempt. Because I don't think recycle takes, like I heard last, a recycle takes about 45 minutes. So we'll stand by for an official T0 time, though. So that's great news. That is great news. Awesome. All right, so launch recap. Never apologize for questions. Questions are awesome. I might not always have the answer, but I'll always try my hardest to answer to the best of my ability and my knowledge. Sorry for all the questions, but is Firefly planning another rocket? If they are they going to use Methalox or Hydrolox, as many companies do, such as SpaceX and Blue Origin? So great question. We can go over to firefly.com. We can click on their, they call it the MLV here, but it's also being known as the Beta rocket. So if you could click on launch, and you'll see right here, MLV, Medium Lift Launch Vehicle. This is their next generation rocket. It's still running on LOX RP1, which is still an incredibly common fuel, and it's preferred. It's still a fantastic, really high energy density fuel, and of course with RP1, that can operate at room temperature. You don't have to worry about chilling it or super chilling it or any of that stuff. It's just happy as a clam sitting there. It's just a lot easier to work with. And so this rocket is going to be using RP1. It's going to have a different engine on it. Instead of using the 4 Reaver engines like we see on Alpha, their medium lift launch vehicle is planning to use 7 of the Miranda engines, which is quite a bit more powerful, which is going to be awesome. And then a Miranda vacuum optimized engine as well. So yeah, very, very cool. And good question. So hopefully, and again, we will be seeing that first stage basically tried out on Northrop Grumman's on the Antares rocket. I keep blanking on that. Sorry. On the Antares rocket, there's going to be an upgrade to the Antares rocket that's going to be featuring basically the first stage of the Beta rocket. So a really cool partnership with an existing company, Northrop Grumman, who is launching to the International Space Station for NASA for the cargo resupply missions. They'll be launching that baby and have a brand new first stage and then Northrop Grumman's upper stages on it. So no more, the Antares rocket currently uses Ukrainian tanks and then Russian-derived, well, they were using originally, they actually remade NK-33 engines, which became the AJ-26. But it was basically more or less NK-33s off of the canceled N1 rocket. The NK-33 is never launched on an N1. That was all 4 launch attempts of the N1 were the NK-15. NK-33 is what was going to be on the upgraded in the next set of rockets, and then there ended up with a handful of them just sitting out there. So, we do have, I don't know if you got this here in Luna, but we do have a new T0 time. Yep, we have a new T0 time of 12:52. That's coming up soon. That's only about 24 minutes away. So yeah, that's great. And there will be another poll. That's going to be great though. Okay, so coming up here before the top of the hour even. Let's see here. Yep, we're good. Okay, so there's actually going to be another go, no-go poll here in about 5 minutes. That's great news. Need to keep my laptop charging. There we go. Yes. How great is that? So yeah, in about 5 minutes, again, at T-20, we'll hear another go, no-go poll. We're expecting to hopefully hear go across the board. So there we go, my friends. New T0 time. It's official. It's up on the clock.
Okay.
T-, how you doing, Ryan? You staying warm?
Okay.
All right, Ryan's ready to go. How are you guys doing over there in Luna? I want to hear a
hello.
update. Pretty good. Why just pretty good? There's a lot going on, but we're 25 minutes away from an orbital rocket. Colin has never seen an orbital launch before, too, so this is pretty exciting.
Okay, we are back again. Just a 2 minute. I will start the stream.
Away from another go, no-go poll, so hopefully we hear from them here relatively shortly, and hopefully we get goes across the board again.
Okay, let's about अभी hold पे था.
All right, back to that beautiful rocket.
कितने मिनट को hold है?
Don't want to take my eyes off that thing.
Okay, welcome again. यहाँ पे फिर से लॉन्च किया जा रहा है अल्फा रॉकेट. अभी कुछ देर पहले लॉन्च ट्राई किया गया था लॉन्च करने का, लेकिन अभी कुछ देर पहले ट्राई किया गया था लॉन्च करने का, लेकिन अबॉर्ट किया गया किसी कारण की वजह से, नहीं पता. लेकिन फिर से 2 घंटे का अभी लॉन्च विंडो है, तो उसके बीच में ये एक सेकंड अटेम्प्ट है आज का, जिसमें अभी विद इन 23 मिनट दे आर लॉन्चिंग द अल्फा रॉकेट। तो उससे पहले हम डिस्कस कर लेते हैं इस मिशन के बारे में, इस कंपनी के बारे में, और रॉकेट इंजन के बारे में। तो सबसे पहले बात करते हैं, इस कंपनी का नाम है फायरफ्लाई। फायरफ्लाई फायरफ्लाई इज़ अ aerospace company. The full name is Firefly Aerospace, which is trying to launch Alpha rocket. The aim is to provide small satellite, cube satellite, and nano satellite and pico satellite launch into the orbit, which is LEO orbit, लोअर अर्थ ऑर्बिट में लॉन्च करने का इनका प्लान है, जिसमें इन्होंने डेवलप किया है अल्फ़ा रॉकेट, जो आपके सामने है। अल्फ़ा रॉकेट एक 29.48 मीटर लॉन्ग है, जिसका डायमीटर है 1.8। तो इस मिशन का नाम है फ्लैट 002 टू द बैक, और रॉकेट का नाम जिसे हमने पहले डिस्कस किया, अल्फ़ा, दिस इज़ द रॉकेट नेम। और इसे लॉन्च किया जा रहा है वेदनबर्ग स्पेस फोर्स यूएसए से लॉन्च किया जा रहा है। और इसमें 2 क्यूब सैटेलाइट और 5 पिको सैटेलाइट भेजे जा रहा है, जिसका टोटल वेट है 35 केजी। और ये एक रीयूजेबल रॉकेट नहीं है, तो इसमें 2 स्टेज है, फर्स्ट स्टेज और सेकंड स्टेज। फर्स्ट स्टेज में यूज़ किया जा रहा है 4 रीवन इंजन, जो लिक्विड कैरोसिन RP1 और लिक्विड ऑक्सीजन का यूज़ किया जा रहा है। और सेकंड स्टेज में यूज़ किया जा रहा है लाइटनिंग 1 इंजन, जो 17 किलो न्यूटन का थ्रस्ट प्रोड्यूस करेगा। और फर्स्ट स्टेज है जो 184 किलो न्यूटन का थ्रस्ट प्रोड्यूस करेगा। फर्स्ट स्टेज में 4 इंजन लगे हुए हैं, वही सेकंड स्टेज में 1 इंजन लगा हुआ है। और अगर इस अल्फ़ा रॉकेट के लेंथ के बारे में बात करें तो 29.8 मीटर लॉन्ग है, डायमीटर है 1.4। और इसके पेलोड कैपेसिटी की बात करें तो लगभग 1170, मतलब 1170 केजी का सेटेलाइट या फिर पेलोड 200 किलोमीटर के ऑर्बिट भेज सकता है। और 745 केजी का सेटेलाइट या फिर पेलोड 500 किलोमीटर के ऑर्बिट भेज सकता है। ये एक कैपेबिलिटी है रॉकेट, अल्फ़ा रॉकेट की। अब बात करते हैं कि इस रॉकेट का लॉन्च के बारे में। तो ये अल्फ़ा रॉकेट, ये सेकंड टेस्टिंग है इस रॉकेट लॉन्च की। इस कंपनी ने अभी तक एक टेस्ट फ्लाइट की है 2 सितंबर 2021 में, अल्फ़ा रॉकेट सेम, लेकिन वो फेल हो गया ऑर्बिट पहुंचने से। तो 1 साल का टाइम लगा लगभग फिर से, और ये दूसरा अटेम्प्ट है इस रॉकेट का, अल्फ़ा रॉकेट का। तो देखना ये है कि ये इस बार सक्सेसफुली ऑर्बिट तक पहुंच पाता है कि नहीं। तो ये फर्स्ट टेस्टिंग है 2022 में, और ये ओवरऑल सेकंड टेस्टिंग और फायरफ्लाई एरोस्पेस कंपनी का इनके करियर में। तो ये इंटरेस्टिंग लॉन्च होगा देखने के लिए। तो ये पूरा ओवरव्यू हो गया है फायरफ्लाई एरोस्पेस कंपनी के बारे में, रॉकेट के बारे में, इंजन के बारे में। तो आइए देखते हैं अब लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग। एवरीडे एस्ट्रोनॉट को हायर किया गया है, जो एक यूट्यूब चैनल चलाते हैं, टिम डॉट। इन्हें हायर किया गया है कि फायरफ्लाई एरोस्पेस के रॉकेट लॉन्च को ऑफिशियली ब्रॉडकास्ट करेंगे एवरीडे एस्ट्रोनॉट के टिम डॉट। तो वहाँ से हम लोग ये लाइव पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं। तो लेट्स एंजॉय द रॉकेट लॉन्च एंड लेट्स गो।
MA,
Go.
MIFCO, Rock, BISPO, OSM, LWO, CE,
Go.
LD, go. Here, go for terminal count.
Awesome. Go for terminal count. Okay, we're back at it for sure. That's an awesome sign. So as you heard, go for terminal count. That's what we want to hear. And so that our countdown clock is go. I love hearing the go no go button. That's like one of my absolute favorite things. Just really makes you feel like you're, just
Let's go.
builds up the hype. So yeah. Okay, so ooh, Moon Man. Love the question. Does Firefly need to roll during ascent to line up with its azimuth, or can it avoid this like Falcon? Now that I can tell that somebody watched my video, maybe didn't, maybe just know this, but it took me a long time to learn it and figure it out. But I have a video called "Why Do Cylindrical Rockets Roll?" Because you'll notice this rocket has really almost no defining features on the outside. It's almost entirely look at that shot. It's just all condensation there. That's cool how it cleared though, right? But you'll notice that the rocket is basically entirely cylindrical. There aren't any like raceways or features on the outside that would help someone just look at it and go, oh, that's the z-axis of the rocket, or et cetera, et cetera. By the way, fun thing is, you know, normally when you're sitting here, X, Y, and Z-axis, you'd think of the Z-axis going through you. Rockets have the same coordinates as if you were laying on your back and you're in the cockpit. So imagine you're you know, about to fly in this rocket. It would actually have the same coordinates as if you're, you know, laying on your back in a cockpit on a rocket, because that's how rockets initially were. You know, like the Mercury astronauts, Gemini, they're basically in a cockpit stuck on top of the rocket. So they maintain the same coordinate system as an airplane, but it's just kind of 90 degrees from what you'd think an airplane, because normally airplanes fly horizontally, rockets fly vertically, but it's all kind of aligned with the astronauts. So, does this rocket? Sorry, I'm going on a rant. Does Firefly need to roll? I don't know if they roll to align to their azimuth. So, to keep computational orbital dynamics really simple, if you just simply roll to align with your pitch program. So, you know, rockets, you go up to get out of the atmosphere, but you pitch over to gain horizontal velocity in order to get into orbital speeds. You'll have to gain horizontal velocity. So you have to get going really fast. It's, you know, about 27,000 kilometers an hour, 17,500 miles an hour. You have to go really fast just to get into orbit. So you go up, and then you'll get out of the atmosphere, because the atmosphere can slow you back down. So you'll get up out of the atmosphere, and you'll just start to pitch over, and you'll just speed up, and eventually you'll be going so fast that you basically are falling, but always missing the horizon, which is really cool. And that's just how orbital mechanics work. But yeah, to make it really simple, you know, there's all these different inclinations. So imagine, you know, the Earth and like a hula hoop around it. The International Space Station is at 51.6 degrees, so it's at an angle. A polar orbit's going north and south over the North Poles. An equatorial orbit would be going right around the belt, right around the equator of Earth. And you know, depending on where you're going in space and what your orbit is, you basically get to align the rocket with where it's going to be going. And that's so it's trying to line up with its inclination. Its azimuth is where it's actually pointing relative to the ground. So early rockets, it was really easy just to simply have the rocket take off, roll a little bit, and then pitch over on their azimuth to align to their target orbit. But these days, a lot of you can actually do some. It's a lot more complicated. It's a lot harder. But a lot of rockets actually are able to do pitch and yaw and just kind of navigate through a 3D space instead of just doing a simple roll and then pitch maneuver. Sorry, that was a long rant. If none of that made sense, again, watch my video, Why Do Cylindrical Rockets Roll? I promise you'll learn something, because I learned, that's always my goal when I make a video, is I want to learn like a decent amount of things. So let's see here. Let's see. Silly Billy wants to know, how many fills are we at now? So I mentioned the last one. So the only thing I know from their first launch was the first rocket they built, it took about 18 fills just to light the engines for the first time on the first stage. Not all the other times after that, because they probably did more than one engine ignition. I know for a fact they did more than one engine ignition. But the first time, it took them 18 fuel-up operations just to be able to do a successful engine ignition on the first stage of their first rocket. This one they did on the first try. So I have no idea. I have no other thresholds on how many fueling and cycles they've had, but this one is a fresh baby compared to the first one they flew.
Okay, within a 15 minutes they are launching the rocket.
Just from our count, you know, we've known they've obviously done a static fire. They've done a static fire. You know, they've tested it outside of Austin, and then they've at Briggs in Briggs, Texas, at their manufacturing and test facility out there. They've also test fired it here on the launch pad, and then yeah, they've done a handful of fueling operations. We had basically 3 launch attempts, because really they kind of cycled it. It wasn't a full fuel tank operation, so I'm really more 2 attempts when we were out here the other day, and now we're still kind of in the same. I don't know if you count this as one, or I don't know how to count it. Moral of the story is, I'm not sure, but it's not that many compared to the first one. So let's see. Well, thank you very much again to Ted's Fix the Tech. I really appreciate that. Okay, this is a good question. Launch Recap wants to know, how many cameras can you run at 4K from Luna? Love the 4K stream straight from the source. Well, thank you very much. I made a video all about this. We made a video on the build of the van. The van is still a work in progress. I know we have a lot of people wanting us to do a wrap and things like that. It'll get a nice fresh coat of paint once everything's done, but that's low priority compared to making it so you can actually run a stream. So Colin's telling me we can run 22 cameras in 4K. I thought we could run. Oh, I thought we could do 40. We can't, huh? The cons. Oh. Okay, we have 22 cameras that are wired up that we can stream 4K in, but the Constellation 8K switcher that we use could actually do simultaneously 40 4K feeds, but we don't have it wired up that way really. But yeah, that's we can do a lot of 4K on this thing, and it's kind of wired up to the gills. So, like I said, it's still a little bit of a work in progress, but I'm getting confirmation of yes, it is. But let's see. Will we need another pointy end up, flaming end down in case it has changed? Oh man, you're right. I mean, I kind of looked away from the rocket for a little bit. We did have that shot of mission control. I better reconfirm, and this is the shot for it. I can confirm again, just in case you guys need to know, which Arvin needs. Yes, the pointy end is still up, and the flaming end, oh, there it is. Flaming end is down. Look at those Reaver engines. You can see them chilling down there. They are running propellant through them to begin to chill them down. One of the big things, believe it or not, you'd think the heat of lighting a rocket engine is the thing that'd be so damaging or hard on the engines, but actually, it's actually the cold that's almost harder on them. You know, liquid oxygen flowing through those pumps can be really hard on the bearings and things like that in the turbopump system. So they'll actually start to pre-flow and run some of that liquid oxygen through the rocket, through the engines, just to get them thermally conditioned, because once those engines are running, let me tell you, there's a lot of fuel flowing through there, a lot of opportunity to get really, really, really cold. So yeah, that's what the liquid oxygen is. When they chill it down, that's kind of what they're doing. And in this case, sometimes you can use your fuel or your oxidizer depending on which propellants you're using. When you're using RP1, you don't necessarily want to, you know, RP1's not going to cool it off that much because it's more or less room temperature. So yeah. Yes, do we know what caused the first Firefly rocket to fail? Absolutely, yeah, of course. They wouldn't be flying, they definitely wouldn't be flying again if they didn't know, if they hadn't tracked down the root cause. And believe it or not, it was a simple connector. E3, engine number 3, happened to fail on ascent. A lot of it might have been because, you know, again, I mentioned how many times they had, you know, played with that rocket and how they used that first rocket to, you know, you have to develop everything for the first time with their first rocket. So that rocket went through a lot more, and they found out that there's an engine connector with this, you know, kind of fancy plug that powers the it does a lot of things for the engine, but basically more or less powers, you know, physically runs voltage to the engines to open the valves and things like that. And that was sitting in a relatively higher vibration environment than they probably wanted and preferred. So literally the solution was just to move that plug further upstream, just run a little bit longer. You know, basically when you have 2 wires and you have a plug there, you can just change where that plug is in relation to those wires. So they moved it out of a high vibration environment, and they're seeing about 1/10 the amount of vibrations. And then of course, again, the rocket, is also, you know, been cycled a lot less and has a lot less wear and tear. So they're quite confident that that's going to definitely has solved, and they knew that almost immediately. They knew it upon recovering the vehicle. They saw that the engines had been disconnected from that one engine. E3 had been disconnected, and Tom Marcusick talked about that. And if you haven't watched that video, guys, I swear that's one of my favorite interviews of all time. Is going through Firefly's their development place at Briggs, Texas, with them with Tom Marcusick. He answers some questions that I have been wanting to know the answer to for so long. He's really, really just a brilliant man. So hearing from him on some of these things was just awesome. Definitely watch that video. You'll have a bigger appreciation for some of the engineering involved. So, all right, we do have comms back on, so hopefully we'll be hearing from them.
Did you ask if we were live?
Okay.
And then we'll hopefully hear from them, and we'll be able to get some updates. All right.
Hi Ayushi, how are you?
Asking, a few minutes ago you mentioned recycling, refueling. Why would it have to be refueled? Can't they? So yes, they basically keep it fueled up, but the difference is they're just basically, you know, venting out and repressurizing and recompressing and getting all of the RP1 back up to flight pressures, and also resetting the locks and getting the, you know, so you have to recycle.
They are launching the rocket within a विद इन 8 मिनट, 8 मिनट के अंदर लॉन्च करेंगे। तो very exciting to see that. Thank you so much for the joining, IUC. I'm good too, and I'm very happy to see you again in this channel. Okay, T minus 8 minutes.
Cameras at the pad rolling, and are our cameras good to go here again too? Sweet. This is from Kai. Hey Kai, how you doing? From Garden Grove, California. Question: when is the next video getting uploaded to YouTube? Not live stream. We're waiting for the jet video. Yes, that's what I'm currently editing right now. Last week, this time, a little bit more than a week ago now, I was out in Bozeman, Montana, riding in a fighter jet, doing some
7:30.
some fighter jet training with the Polaris Dawn crew. It was awesome. Can't wait to share that video with you guys. I mean, just the experience
Yes,
is amazing, but
8
also
minute में.
I did some history
Yes,
on
yes.
fighter jet training, why NASA
Okay,
still
I'm
does it
excited
today, why
too.
a commercial crew is doing it like Jared's crew.
वैसे ये दूसरी बार ट्राई हो रहा है।
Very, very cool. Really fun.
अभी आधा 1 घंटे पहले इन्होंने ट्राई किया था लॉन्च करने का, लेकिन कोई दिक्कत आ गई थी तो लॉन्च नहीं किया गया, इसे पोस्टपोन कर दिया गया लगभग 30 मिनट के लिए।
We will have
तो
2 TC wiggle check.
अब फिर से लॉन्च किया जा रहा है।
So that's
होप करते हैं कि इस बार ऐसी कोई दिक्कत ना हो कि लॉन्च रोकना पड़े। लेट सी कैसे लॉन्च करते हैं और सक्सेसफुल रहता है या फिर नहीं। ओके ओके, इट्स अ वेरी क्रिटिकल टाइम।
second stage. Let's see. Juan in our Discord wants to know, speaking of working fluids, is the Alpha use cold gas thrusters for the RCS? Actually,
यस
6 minutes and 30 seconds. FSW, please start a wire shark capture on umbilical port PCAP server.
Complete.
I have no idea what that means. Probably important though.
T minus 6 minutes, 10 seconds. The vehicle is on internal power.
So pretty soon we're going to be able to see the strong back retracting again. We'll see that claw open up, and you'll see the strong back recline just a little bit here. But that's coming up. Oh, there we go. There's the claw opening up. The claw. I'm not going to do it in the voice too much more than that. There you go. And soon we'll see the strong back action.
व्हाट हैपेंड? Okay.
Again, thank you, Firefly, for letting us put 4K cameras out here
Strong
on
back
launch.
retract is beginning.
There we go.
Okay, they are launching. Okay. Ready.
You good? You happy? Ryan's got a big smile on his face. Big smiles in Luna.
Disposition all LCCs. Any for the T minus 2 minute check. Any no-go at this time will be an automatic abort. T minus 5 minutes. The strong back is in launch position.
Yes, they are
See
ready.
me,
At
Husky.
T minus 4 minutes and 30 seconds. RC, please begin pulling the western range.
In work.
Thank you.
So getting validation from the range. The range is clear here. That's important. Make sure there's no one in the flight path of the rocket. Sammy, I hope that we see a launch out here and that we see the sky light up from a new launch vehicle. This is, again, an exciting demonstration mission, a test flight, the second Alpha rocket from Firefly. So things are looking good here. We're coming up on T-minus 4 minutes. Really, fingers crossed for the team, everyone in chat. Wish them luck. We're getting really close here, and obviously this is an exciting moment for the teams at Firefly. Wish them luck, and again, thank them for allowing us to be able to provide coverage like this for you guys in 4K. You can see the teams there. I bet everyone's heart's racing. My heart's racing already. And
T-minus 4 minutes. FTS, please confirm FTRs are active and the range is transmitting check channel 4.
FTRs are showing check channel.
FTS, please send ARM enable 1 command to all ESADs.
Arm 1 sent.
FTS, please send ARM enable 2 command to all ESADs.
Arm 2 sent.
FTS, please confirm that all ESADs are enabled.
All ESADs are enabled.
FTS, please safe all ARM commands.
Arm commands are saved. Fly safe.
Thanks, FTS.
That's awesome. So, yep, flight termination systems are
Great.
armed.
That's great. That's great.
And all systems are go. So hopefully we actually, you know, it's looking good. The vehicle's really iced over now. That one band that is on the liquid oxygen tank there on the first stage is almost entirely ice as well. She is ready to go.
T-minus 3 minutes. Fuel bleed is beginning. There will be a go, no-go at T-minus 2 minutes. Any no-go at this time will be an automatic abort.
We have everything recording? Okay. All right, all pad cameras are going. Oh, it's so exciting. It never gets old, honestly. Even you know, Ryan's seen more launches than I have, and I've seen a handful. I mean, I've seen a couple dozen or a few dozen.
T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
When you get this close,
Okay. 2 minute.
it sure is exciting. So for us, we're going to see it coming up, hopefully over the mountain. We get a little clearing before we lose it to the clouds. But again, we do have tracking cameras that'll be able to track the
CD1,
rocket.
This is prop, confirming good fuel bleed.
Confirmed prop. Coming up on T-minus 2 minutes. This is the final commit for launch.
Okay,
Chief
2
engineer.
minute बचे.
Send it.
Launch director.
Go for launch.
Rock. Thank you, range. Flying step 12.20.
Yeah, you
We're
see,
go for launch.
we are ready to see the launch.
Send it. That's what we want to hear. The teams of Firefly are totally go. We're coming up. We're under T-minus 2 minutes. I'm excited. I am so excited. All good. Everything's recording. We're good here. We're really hoping to see this baby lift off today. And again, friendly reminder, this is a demonstration. This is a test flight.
Minus 90 seconds.
And they're just hoping to really check off a few new milestones here for the teams. So we're going to just be cheering them on the whole way. Whatever happens today, guys, just positive vibes. And let's hopefully we get to see a new rocket make it into orbit today. This is really, really exciting.
ये पहली बार होगा कि या
Heart
अगर ये पहुंच
racing.
गया तो एक नया रॉकेट हो जाएगा जो ऑर्बिट पहुंच जाएगा क्योंकि ये सेकंड टेस्ट फ्लाइट है ऑफ अल्फा रॉकेट Firefly Aerospace Company, the Alpha rocket. They are okay within a 1 minute. They are launching their Alpha rocket. Let's go. Let's go.
Please verify that Alpha transitions to autonomous mode.
Copy.
Lock sync is pressed. T-minus 45 seconds.
Look at that engine cam.
Salute is active. Acceptable.
T-minus
Yes.
30 seconds.
Within a 30
Could you
seconds.
please confirm we're on autonomous mode?
Internal count state.
Thank you. T-minus 23 seconds.
Let's go. Are you ready,
T-minus
IUC?
20.
Here we go.
T-minus
It's
15.
very exciting to see that.
T-minus
10.
10. T-minus 5. 4.
3.
1.
Oh, abort.
Aborted.
Vehicle abort. Safing the vehicle.
क्या हो गया यार?
Oh, man. Oh, no.
Oh God. फिर से again नहीं होना चाहिए लेकिन कोई बात नहीं देखते हैं क्या होता है.
Ooh, did you hear it? That was the engine ignition. We could hear it from here.
हाँ इंजन इग्नाइट हुआ है उसके बाद क्या
Yeah,
हुआ?
they lit the engines. They lit the engines. The vehicle is still hanging out. Let's make sure we got a good clean shot of if once the smoke clears. There we go. That's what's important. The rocket is still standing there, of course. The flight computer, most likely at that point, it's an automated thing. We'll wait to hear more. Again, they do have a 2-hour launch window until 2 a.m. We're coming up on, so they have an hour and 7 more minutes. So hopefully they learned why the computer aborted the launch. They're going to take that strong back and they're going to hold back onto the rocket. Of course, scrubs are cheaper than booms. That's what I like to say. My adrenaline was so high that now I'm like shaking. I'm literally shaking right now. And
Okay, no problem. अभी फिर से अभी फिर से लॉन्च हो सकता है, क्योंकि अभी तक ये मिशन फिर से अबॉर्ट किया गया है। इंजन सेफ है अपने लॉन्च पैड पे। माइट भी पॉसिबिलिटी, क्योंकि इनके पास 2 घंटे का लॉन्च विंडो है, इसका मतलब 2 घंटे के बीच में वो कभी भी लॉन्च कर सकते हैं। फ्लाइट टर्मिनेट की गई है। अगर प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व हो जाती है विद इन द लॉन्च विंडो, देन दे विल ट्राई टू लॉन्च अल्फा रॉकेट सून। एंड राइट नाउ द होल्ड इज़ ऑन। अभी होल्ड किया गया है कुछ मिनटों के लिए, या फिर जब तक प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व नहीं होती है। अगर रिजॉल्व हो जाएगी तो फिर लॉन्च किया जाएगा, अगर नहीं होती तो मिशन स्क्रब कर दिया जाएगा। वैसे मिशन स्क्रब करना ज़्यादा ही ठीक रहेगा, क्योंकि ये प्रेफरेबल है कि रॉकेट बूम होने से पहले उसे पोस्टपोन कर दिया जाए, ताकि फिर से लॉन्च किया जाए, क्योंकि इसमें पेलोड लगे हुए हैं। इसमें नासा का भी सैटेलाइट भेजा जा रहा है। जब पिछली बार लॉन्च किया गया था सितंबर में, तब भी पेलोड जो इसमें भेजे जा रहे थे वो ब्लास्ट हो गए थे विद इन 8 किलोमीटर फ्रॉम द सी लेवल। रॉकेट ब्लास्ट हो गया था। तो इस बार नहीं चाहते कि ऐसा रॉकेट ब्लास्ट हो, क्योंकि रॉकेट के साथ साथ जो पेलोड भेजा जा रहा है सैटेलाइट, वो भी ब्लास्ट हो जाते हैं। तो फिर से उन्हें बनाया जाता है। तो लेट्स सी कि क्या होता है। अभी की अपडेट ये है कि फिर से होल्ड किया गया है अल्फ़ा रॉकेट को, जो आपके सामने स्क्रीन पे है। अल्फ़ा रॉकेट जो रॉकेट का नाम है, और फायरफ्लाई एरोस्पेस द कंपनी नेम इज़ फायरफ्लाई एरोस्पेस विच लॉन्चिंग द अल्फ़ा रॉकेट। सो लेट्स सी आगे क्या भी अपडेट आते हैं, देखते हैं। लेट्स सी, एंजॉय द शो। टीम डॉट कहाँ गया,
Well,
क्या हो गया?
Internal count state.
thank you. T-minus 23 seconds.
The vehicle is still hanging out. Let's make sure we got a good clean shot of if once the smoke clears. There we go. That's what's important. The rocket is still standing there, of course. The flight computer, most likely at that point, it's an automated thing. We'll wait to hear more. Again, they do have a 2-hour launch window until 2 a.m. We're coming up on, so they have an hour and 7 more minutes. So hopefully they learned what, why the computer aborted the launch. They're going to take that strong back and they're going to hold back onto the rocket. Of course, scrubs are cheaper than booms. That's what I like to say. My adrenaline was so high that now I'm like shaking. I'm literally shaking right now. And it's not, I am a little bit cold, but it's just like the adrenaline. I was ready to go. And oh man, you didn't happen to see anything in that camera, did you? Yeah, we probably couldn't tell. It probably wasn't bright enough yet. But so we're going to hear from the teams and know if there's a reset opportunity. Maybe, you just never know with these types of things. There could be, an engine just maybe didn't love, had a bad temperature sensor reading or something like that. You just never know. So we'll wait to hear more from the teams on why it was aborted right there at T0. But meanwhile, again, the rocket's safe. That's what's important. We have a beautiful rocket sitting on the launch pad, rearing to go. You can tell it's like, let go of me, please. Oh, man. Well, yep, we got a static fire test out of it at least, so at least we know the engines can light. Oh, Burr, now I'm like, now that the adrenaline has just absolutely gone through me, I'm freezing. You know what I think I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to actually take a break and warm up for a minute. Maybe Ryan will too. We're going to get, it is chilly, so I'm actually going to wait until we have an update from Firefly. I need a little bit of a break myself. Seriously, the adrenaline, and now that it's like worn off, I'm like freezing. So give me just a quick minute here. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll just leave the rocket here on the pad, and I'll come back to you guys as soon as we have an update. It should be relatively soon.
Okay. See you soon. Bye bye Ayushi. We will meet. See you soon. Bye bye. ओके, हम लोग फिर से मिलेंगे एक और टेस्ट ट्राई में, जब भी रॉकेट लैब कह रहा हूँ, जब भी फायरफ्लाई एरोस्पेस कोई अनाउंस करेगा कि कब ये लॉन्च होगा। तो तब तक के लिए थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द जॉइनिंग, एंड फिर से लाइव होस्टिंग के लिए I'm again here to live host after after a few minutes, because Firefly Aerospace didn't tell me that how much hold they are for the rocket launch. So they will updating us. I will again here to live host that rocket launch. तब तक के लिए bye bye. We are still here and I'm again joining if the timer start for the rocket. Right now अभी होल्ड पे गया है क्योंकि टेस्टिंग का बाकी है कि क्या लॉन्च किया जाएगा कि नहीं आगे से. लेट्स सी. आई विल अपडेट यू in this stream as well. Bye bye.
right. Well, I have some hot chocolate. I am warming up here, but as you can probably see and hear, the rocket is detanking, and they are completely resetting. So this was an auto abort that was built into the system, of course, for ultimate safety. You know, obviously these rockets have more sensors than any one human could ever keep track of. So the computer saw something that it didn't love, and it auto aborted. So they're actually going to be completely scrubbing for tonight. They're going to look at their data tonight, figure out if they know for sure what's going on, make sure everything's totally thumbs up. As you can tell, they're detanking the rocket. Everything's looking good now, though. They're going to be looking at the exact same launch window for tomorrow. So be sure you're staying tuned to Firefly's Twitter, to my Twitter as well. Firefly, of course, at Firefly Aerospace. You'll find me on Twitter just by searching Everyday Astronaut. We'll hopefully give you guys an update as soon as we for sure have confirmation that tomorrow is go, assuming everything is going swell tonight for the rest of the night as they continue detanking operations. You'll notice literally quite that right now. You do see all that extra condensation out there right now. So the rocket is safe. Everything's looking good for a detank, and hopefully, things get figured out tonight and give the teams a little bit of time to work on reset the rocket and get it ready for a launch attempt tomorrow. Fingers crossed. So again, I just want our chat here. I know it's probably tempting to be disappointed, of course, but please just send some positive vibes and thank Firefly again for allowing us to provide this kind of coverage, this kind of live stream for you guys out here. What a dream come true to be able to set up cameras like this for an orbital rocket. So hopefully tomorrow we break the curse and we get to see, we get our Luna van able to actually see a rocket launch. That would be, there we go, Luna. Maybe you'll actually see a rocket fly. Hey, maybe tomorrow night will be clearer and we'll actually have better tracking assets for you guys too. So that would be awesome for us. We've come out all this way we drove the van from Florida to California in just 3 days. It would definitely be it'd be fun to be able to get some really high-end, high-quality tracking footage out of this. Cool. We got the lights going on Luna. I didn't even know I had those ones up there. That's pretty great. Aw, Luna. We'll see you launch out of it someday. But again, I owe a big thank you to all of you for watching. Everyone here, the teams at Firefly for...
Okay. अभी का अपडेट ये है कि मिशन को स्क्रब कर दिया गया है, मतलब आज लॉन्च नहीं किया जाएगा. अब लॉन्च अटेम्प्ट होगा कल, तो हम फिर से ज्वाइन होंगे कल के लिए. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द ज्वाइनिंग एंड सपोर्टिंग मी, and we are excited to see you again, and we are excited to see again that launch Alpha rocket. तो उसी के साथ साथ आज का स्ट्रीम एंड करते हैं. अगर आपने पूरा एंड स्ट्रीम देखा है तो उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. हम फिर मिलेंगे कल एक इसी लॉन्च पे, जहाँ पे हम देखेंगे फिर से अगेन अल्फ़ा रॉकेट को लॉन्च होते हुए. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द ज्वाइनिंग. बाय बाय, अपना ख्याल रखें और बाय 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 बाय. सी यू सून अगेन.
Is that what that of the seven engine static fire? If you guys haven't seen that, you can actually watch mock diamonds grow. It's just unbelievable footage. Cosmic Perspective, find it on YouTube. You guys know Cosmic Perspective and Ryan, who set up all the cameras on the pads and is going to be doing the tracking cameras and everything like that. So huge thank you to Ryan. Find him on YouTube and Patreon and all of the fun things. But I also owe a huge thank you to my patrons and those in the Discord channel. Patreon.com/everydayastronaut if you guys want to help us continue to do what I do and help us hopefully cover more and more of these launches. And of course, I got to say one more thanks to all the people that did super chats, including, man, that one was just unbelievable. Thank you so much.
ओके, थैंक यू सो मच. ये लास्ट अपडेट थी कि आज का लॉन्च नहीं होगा. रीज़न क्या स्पेसिफिक रीज़न है मैं मेंशन कर दूंगा डिस्क्रिप्शन में एंड व्हाट वी सेड इन कमेंट सेक्शन कि व्हाट वाज द एक्चुअल रीज़न दे आर नॉट लॉन्चिंग द अल्फा रॉकेट राइट नाउ. सो लेट्स मीट वंस अगेन टुमारो. वी विल मीट अगेन. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द ज्वाइनिंग एंड बाय बाय. अपना ख्याल रखें. बाय 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 बाय.